would have saved me a lot of time.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mastermind Call. I'm going to hand it over. Tricia Sherman's leading us tonight.
Way to go, girl.
So take it away, Mama.
All right. Well, not going to lie. I'm a little bit nervous about that because I'm not really sure how much value I have to add right now, mastermind-wise. But I'm going to do my best.
You got this.
So, first of all, let me apologize for being late. I don't know what, I was sitting at my computer for the last 10 minutes, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I need to grab the link. And then I'm like, I can't find the link. And then I remembered there was an events link on the side, and that brought you to the link.
See, you were here when she started recording. If you hadn't said that, nobody would have known.
Right. In any case. But no, so anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit. I know tonight's kind of theme is kind of what's working and what's not working. And so, like I said, in that sense, I kind of feel like I don't know that I have that much to offer, but I have been kind of revving up my engines into consistency with some stuff, and it has been helping me day to day. So I figured that's where we'd start and kind of see where that got us. And I shared some of this on a live that I did on the team page, maybe like a week and a half ago or so. So some of y'all have probably heard a bit about it, and Summer Tucker shared really where I got it from was her, and she shared I feel like a handful of videos kind of laying some of it out. So some of you guys may have heard a bit about it, but long story short, I sat in on a mastermind with Summer Tucker. It was probably about 3 weeks ago now, and she was talking about basically like how simple this business is. And when she was saying she feels like they're so often like we overcomplicate what it is. And honestly, like I took that to mean kind of more an overcomplication of like how to make it work, more or less. Like to me, I'm like, it is a simple business, but then when I sit down and think about like what it is we do, it's not simple. Like, I mean, when I sat down to kind of think about what even to talk about tonight, I started thinking about what we as Beachbody coaches get to do. And like, really guys, like the depth of that it's not simple. Like we're inviting people to walk this journey with us. Essentially, we're inviting people to live life with us. I mean, at least that's how I look at it. Like, yes, it's about health and fitness, but even from the standpoint of the health and fitness aspect, obviously really we all know it's beyond that, which is why we tap into PD and, and whatnot. But even from the standpoint of the health and fitness aspect, like it really, to me, is about asking people to live life. Like why do we want to eat healthy and work out on a daily basis? It's because we've been given these lives to live, and it's out of like honor and really like glory to God that we do it. Like even the exercise part of it, I've honestly been accused time and again through the years of being obsessed with working out, and in some ways that probably is the case to some degree. Like I've probably been guilty of that over the years to some degree. But in all honesty, when I think about it, like I look at it like we work out not even just to feel good. I mean, in part, yeah, like I definitely don't look at it like, oh, it's a thing where we need to look this way or that way. But even from the standpoint of like feeling good, I'm like, to me, like it goes deeper than that, in the sense that like God created us as beings that were meant to move. Like we weren't created to just sit around and eat bonbons. Like we were. So to me, like it's a privilege to be able to like exercise and eat right because of who we are. Like it's in my opinion, like it's kind of beyond a privilege, a responsibility that we have to ourselves and to God. And so in that sense, I'm like, really, like when we step back and look at what we do as beach body coaches, it's not simple. Like it's really a deep thing for me, because like I'm asking you to live life alongside me. Like don't sit down on the couch and eat the bonbons. Like let's do this. And in doing this, like I'm asking you to get vulnerable. Like, I mean, let's get real. Like we all know that like our journeys lead us to fall down and get back up again. And whether it be with health, nutrition, whether it be with, PD or prayer time, like it. And so when we're asking people to join us on the journey, like there's so much depth there, and there's really so much that you're asking people to commit to, more or less. Like that's so much that to me is so much deeper than the product. So I say that because like when Summer sat down and in this mastermind and kind of said, this is such a simple business, guys, like don't overcomplicate it. I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like I'm like looking oddly through my glasses, but I have bifocals. So like when I have to look at something, I'm like, all the time. Anyways, point being, when she sat down and said like, it's such a simple business, and it is, but like, and so I'm going to lay out for you what she kind of laid out for us on the mastermind, and what for me has been working when I put it into practice. Let's get real. I can't fib because I talked to Kelly 3 days ago and she knows where I'm at. But anyways, but honest to God, like day in and day out, when I put it into practice, it is working for me. But so I'm going to lay that out for you guys. But when we look at the simplification of it at the same time, like I guess kind of like when I sat down and thought about like how simple she was talking about it was, and what it is we do day to day, I just kind of like was convicted that like we don't want to lose sight of the depth of what it is. And like we always talk about being real about it and whatever. And I think we need to realize like what we're kind of asking our challengers to do, but at the same time recognizing that like honestly, like that's a privilege that we have, like to say to somebody like I'll walk this with you, like then them saying yeah, okay, I'll do it, like that's an honor and a privilege to like be trusted to be a part of their journey, if that makes sense. But anyways, back to Summer's mastermind. Sorry, guys. I was all worried I would not be able to talk for more than 5 minutes, and I seem to be like getting away from myself. But anyway, so like 3 weeks ago, I sat in on this mastermind with Summer, and she basically started talking about how simple the business is. And she said, I feel like we've overcomplicated it over the years, and I don't feel like there's any reason to do that. And she said, when I first started, this is all I did. And I did it for, I think she said a year. She might have said longer than a year. Whatever it was, she was like, this is exactly the recipe I use. This is exactly how I this is exactly how I structured it. And this is piece by piece what I did. And then I talked to her when Michelle Kelly and I went on retreat last week, I guess it was. I talked to her for a few minutes just because what she said has helped me so much that I wanted to thank her for kind of opening herself up to that. And what she said was, she's like, y'all, it really is so simple. Like, don't make she said, there's so many different ways you can track this and that. There's so many different ways you can lay things out. And things are so like, techy now that, it's almost like we feel like we need to use different programs and, whatever to in order to be structured and organized. And basically what she said was, she was like, don't. So what she said she did And what I have started to do day to day is, as far as invites are concerned, is I've got a recipe box, and legit, y'all, she's like sitting there talking about like, this is what I did. I had a recipe box and I got index cards and I wrote on the index cards. And as she's talking, I'm like, yo, I have a recipe box in my cupboard and I never look at those recipes. So I'm just going to go get the recipe box and just like fill it up. So I did. I had like maybe 10 recipes in the recipe box. So I was like, well, those can go in that corner of the cupboard, and here we go. So anyways, she said, and I may be taking her so literally that it's, ridiculous, but I've started doing exactly what she said she did, down to the recipe box. But anyway, so what she said she did was grab the recipe box and then got index cards and spaced out the index cards like 2 by 2, basically. So she said, so what I did was, the recipe boxes come with, like, what you call it? What is the word? Like tabs that, for categories and whatnot. So what I did, we're going to call this show and tell. What I did is took the tabs, and instead of putting dates and stuff like that on there, I just straight did like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So then like I can run my week that way. And so she got a recipe box, filled it with index cards, did, separated stuff into by tabs. And then what she decided to do, well, she said sorry, y'all, hold on, my coffee's about to spill. She said, whoever it was, she said she was listening to, and I can't remember who it was, but had given her, these pointers. And she said, what they said to me was, if you every single day invite 2 people, follow up with 2 people, and connect with 2 people, or add 2 people to your friends list, or connect with people at the park and kind of like start building a relationship that way. Basically, like, find 2 people to invite, find 2 people new to connect with, and find 2 people that you invited to follow up with. And then what she said is, so then you take so now each tab, essentially, like I got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever. And each day I'm doing 2 people. So each tab then has, sorry guys, I'm telling you, my bifocal situation has me like up and down out the thing. Anyway, so you've got like two people per day. And then, so let me find so Monday, here we go. Okay, so then Monday, I take my 2 cards and I've got my list, my 100 list, separate from this, obviously. But so my list is, I've got it written out, and then, it's notated or highlighted or whatnot based on who I feel like I have the best connections with, and who I feel comfortable inviting, and who I still am working to build relationships with. So I pull those out, and then in the morning, or when I'm doing my power hour, I take 2 index cards and I write the names of 2 people that I want to invite that day. Send out the quick invite, and even that, y'all, like, she legit was like, so simple. Like, if you feel like you have a relationship with these people, like, don't get in your head. Like, don't she was like, if you're being genuine, then there's nothing to fear about it. Like, what's the worst thing that happens? They tell you no. But to this point, I've yet to have, no, that's not true. That's not true. I've had one person be like, yeah, I'm not into it. Everybody else they haven't jumped on the bandwagon necessarily right away, but every single person has been like, well, what's it about? Like, I need help with this. I need help with that. And her point was, like, if it's coming from a genuine place, like, they're not gonna completely poo-poo you. And even if they do, like, what do you got to lose? So point being, like, even as far as the invitations are concerned, her point was, like, simplify it. Like, come at it from, like, this is what I know about you. And that's kind of what I've just started being like, hey, like, I know you're into this, and I am doing an accountability group next month, and I thought maybe you'd be into it. Would you be into it? Peace, done, whatever. Like, literally, each invitation has taken me like 2 minutes. And so so I write down whoever I'm in, like the 2 names, the people that I want to invite. Send them a quick invite. I'm doing like then taking my index card and like notating. You can't really see. And then like notating like this date, like I sent the invitation. Okay, so now today's Monday. So I'm moving these cards from Monday to Wednesday. And then Wednesday, when I hit Wednesday, now I've got the 2 cards. Well, I seem to have 3 in my hand, but regardless, I've got the 2 cards of the people that I invited on Monday and 2 more cards in the Wednesday slot for people to invite on Wednesday, right? So then I'm taking the 2 cards of the people that I already have written out and sending a follow-up. And that's another thing, y'all, that like kind of hit me was like, she was like, y'all cut off your notifications. Like quit having like, off your phone. Like quit having Facebook pop up, quit having Instagram pop up, like cut them off, set yourself time to do what you need to do and then be done with it. And then like, so then like now I have like Marie and Ruth who I'm supposed to follow up with on Wednesday. So I'm not going to sit here and stress about like, well, what if Ruth already got back to me and I need to get back to her? Because like, if it's meant to be, at least that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Like if it's meant to be, then on Wednesday, she'll still be there. Like, not saying that I'm completely ignoring her necessarily, but like I'm not letting it be a stressor. So then Wednesday rolls around and I write my, I pull out my list and find, 2 people that I want to invite. Same thing. Quick, simple invitation, like nothing, out of whatever, nothing out of the ordinary. And then I'm following up with Ruth and Marie, and then I'm moving Ruth and Marie to Friday slot, moving those 2 people to Friday slot, and then kind of like going on about my day kind of thing. And what has been really, and like I said, so then I'm noting like, I, invited them on whatever today is, 10/16. And then on Wednesday, I'm like followed up on whatever, 10/18. These are the little things that they said. Now, if it gets like, then I've also got a Excel sheet. Excuse me, sorry, y'all. I've also got an Excel sheet where like if I have more detailed notes to kind of like keep tabs on, then I'm filling that in there. But basically, this system is allowing me to just like sit down for 30 minutes, invite, follow up, done and done. And then like, once it gets rolling and like I'm, like working towards like really closing the sale or whatever else, then I'm pulling out my Excel sheet based on, what I have in there if I have more detailed notes and stuff. But y'all, this, and I say this in jest because like Kelly and I discussed, like I have got to work on my closing, like maybe. But as far as like the invite process is concerned, I don't know about y'all, but it has been something that has really been a struggle for me. Like it has stressed me out. And because I'm like, because I think I overthink it. And when I really sat down after listening to Summer and then talking to Summer at the retreat we were at, I honestly just started thinking like, if it's stressing us out just to send out an invitation, what are we doing this for? Like I said, honest to goodness, like it is a honor and a privilege to invite these people into this, like I said, you're inviting them into your life, basically, to live life with you. If you believe wholeheartedly in that and you're genuine about how you go about doing that, then in all reality, like there's nothing to fear and there's nothing to stress, there's nothing to stress about really. Like, I mean, in terms of the invitation process, which honest to goodness, like I found myself like almost afraid to open my Facebook app because I'm like, oh, well, what if so-and-so responded? I don't know what I'm to say, whatever. And now I'm like, you know what? Like, this is the 30 minutes I have, and I'm going to give myself to the people that I'm trying to serve for these 30 minutes. And then, you know what? I'm going to give myself to my family. And that, honestly, y'all, that was another huge key thing for me when I was listening to her, was she was saying, you know, when I decided to do this, I did not want to just work. I wanted to be there for my family. So I was going to do something in such a way that, like, I could devote, you know, 30 minutes to an hour to doing it, and then shut the computer, shut Facebook off, and go live life with my family. And when she said that, I thought, you know what, like, I so needed to hear that, because so much, and I'm not knocking any, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not knocking any of the PD we read and listen to. Like, I honestly, like, I kind of can't believe how many books I've read over the course of the last 3 months. It becomes super fun to me. So I'm not knocking that at all. But I feel like a lot of the businessy PD kind of books that I've read, or podcasts or whatever that I've listened to, you know, it's all about, like, in order to make this work, like, you have to give everything. Like, if you don't want, who is it that, it's not, who is it that's like, basically, like, you have to want, I can't think of who it is. And y'all are going to know. But essentially, like, yes, thank you. Basically,
It's Eric Thomas. You have to want to succeed more than you want to breathe.
Like, yes, that's exactly what it is. And it started getting, like, in my head, where I'm like, okay, like, I want to make this something real. Like, I want to make this something big. And if I want to make this something big, then it's okay that, like, my kid's crying in the corner and I'm doing this. And I'm not saying that's not okay to some degree. But basically, where, like, I started getting into this place of, like, okay, like, if I'm going to make this go, then I can, you know, then I'm allowed to ignore them for a while, because in 5 years, they're going to be so grateful that I ignored them for a while, because then they're going to have, you know, this nest egg here, and they're going to have this blah, blah, blah. And basically so then it started stressing me out. And then I started thinking, like, why am I doing this if it's just an added stressor? It's not fair to my family. And basically what she was saying was, like, there's no reason for it. Like, that's so completely unnecessary. And then and I know this sounds like such a simplified, like, you know, pen and paper, old school kind of way to make things run, which happens to be kind of how my brain works. So it works for me. But so then when I was talking to Summer last weekend, she said, and I was honest with her, and I was like, look, like, I'm a new coach. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of like, I'm just starting out. So, you know, so that's partly, I think, why, like, the simplification was so helpful for me. But then she legit was like, yeah. And then when you have a team of coaches, like, you get another recipe box, and you put your coaches in that recipe box, and you kind of do the same kind of thing. Like, you use it. Not saying y'all have to use recipe boxes, not saying that's how to do it for everybody, not saying that that's even necessarily the right approach long term. But her point was simply that, like, it is so simple through and through. Don't overthink it. So anyways, that's kind of like I said, that it's helping me loads, because I'm getting up, saying prayers, saying a quick prayer that, like, whoever I happen to invite, whoever I happen to touch, at least let them feel like love, like, at least let that kind of, like, exude through me. If nothing else, if I sell nothing, if I, whatever, like, if I never get an SC point, like, and then knocking it out. And honestly, and then, like, 30 minutes in, I mean, y'all, like, the first day I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I feel like this is, like, world changing, which is so ridiculous because it's so simple. But I was up at 5:30, and by 6:00, I was like, yo, I'm, like, in the shower, and, like, I'm not carrying it around with me. Like, I'm not worried about, like, what's over my head, and, like, what if so-and-so does respond, and what if she responds right now, what am I going to say? I got to think about my, like, like, I got to think about how I'm going to come back to her, and, like, what, and I'm like, you know what? No, like, I got the 30 minutes, do that, and then, move on with life. And then whatever, during nap time or rest time or, whatnot, then I can have time to check into the challenge groups and, have a half an hour for that. And then move on with my day. And then I'm not only am I not taking time away from my family, but I'm like so ridiculously less stressed, you know? Anyways, I hope that's helpful. Anybody have any comments or anything for whatever it's worth?
I love it because I love the idea of, frankly, sitting on it for 48 hours is so great because we're told all the time that if we're always on, then all of our people are going to think they have to be always on. And so by not answering, and I'll tell you real honestly, I did have one time somebody was trying to get a hold of me and it took 24 hours to get back to her. And she's like, I thought you forgot about me. And I'm like, okay, sorry about that. But, and it made it fall through. But other than that, I mean, I was gone all weekend. I was on retreat and I had people messaging me and I just wrote back like, I'm sorry I was on retreat, but I'm still here. So, let's talk now. And I think that people really respect, I don't know, that time. I don't think that, and frankly, it's only recently that has become an acceptable turnaround to do it so quick, because it used to be when you were answering phone calls, you had 48 hours to get back to somebody kind of thing. You weren't expected to return their phone call 5 minutes after they made it. But, I love Summer's idea of having it be simple, because it's not easy, but the process is simple. And it's interesting, the more you get to know the bigger organization. I love this company. I love the things that I hear coming straight down from the top. But you're right, though, Tricia. If you look at the schedules of the people who are fighting to stay in the top 10 every year, or people who are really shooting for elite at all costs, those people are not working an hour a day and then walking away and being from the pan. Those are the people who want to succeed more than they want to breathe and are doing it all hours of the day. And that's not what I want. It doesn't mean I would turn it down if it landed on my doorstep, but my goal is not to be number one in the company. And maybe that's disordered, but when I look at people like Summer, I'm like, dude, she's about to make her second million just with Beachbody, and she takes time off and really doesn't. And frankly, if you message her, it's a couple days before she messages you back sometimes. Now, I mean, if I'm messaging her something personal about, I don't know, dogs, or I can't even think of a good example. There was something I was messaging her about that was like a personal thing because we're friends, that she'll get right back to. But if I have a business question, it's a couple days. She always answers eventually, but she's not working right then. And I think that's really, it's a good example for me. Thanks, Tricia.
Yeah, I think that a whole sense of, and by the way, Tricia, that was really good. So you really did awesome. You had a lot of value to add there. I think we all can listen to the whole idea of it is a lot more simpler than we make it. We overcomplicate it all the time, when in the end, it really is about inviting someone to come with us and for us to walk together on a journey. Because heaven knows, I don't know about any of you, but I sure haven't got it all figured out yet. I'm still picking myself up off the floor. And so when people realize that we're really kind of digging in together, I think it's huge and it makes a difference. But no, I love that. And Kelly and I were just meeting this morning, and we just started Novena, and we're praying for our challengers and our coaches. And the fact that it is more than just that simple walk into fitness, but an opportunity to be the light, an opportunity to make a difference, and when we look at it that way. So I really loved what you had to say and how you packaged it all. So, and your glasses are super cute. When you do this little thing, it's super cute too. So
No,
It's so bad. I feel like I can't do live videos because I'm like, it's hard for me not to like look at myself when I'm right there. And then I'm like, well, I can't see like what's going on. I'm like, God. And then if I take my glasses off, I can't read comments. So it's like,
well, if you just tell people what's going on and you laugh at yourself, it might actually even get you more likes and comments.
I'm really not snubbing my nose in the air.
See, I don't have glasses. I'm just old. And so when I'm doing a video and then I go like this, so I can read, and then I come back, and then I go like this so I can read.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to
Sucks getting old.
Tricia, I wanted to ask you, when you do your connections, like your new connections, do you put a note card for them, or how are you tracking those? You know what I mean? Like
Well,
your
that's
new.
why I haven't been tracking those. That's a very good
That's
point.
fine. No, I don't think you
No,
necessarily.
I haven't been. That's a good. No, that's a good.
But I honestly think that's part of that might actually be a good thing. I think not until they start talking to you. You know what I mean? Like, because I was just thinking about that. Sometimes that can clog your funnel if you try to track every single one. But I like how you talked about how you had an Excel sheet for notes when you had more detail. Like, I don't track every happy birthday message I ever send out because that would be insane. You know what I mean? But if you just, but you're mentally saying, making sure you're going and finding 2 new people.
Yes, that I'm like checking off. I'm checking off, that I invited, like literally on a tracker, like checking off that I've invited, that I've followed up, and that I've whatever. Yeah, that I've like added friends or whatnot. But although I liked that, the thing that she said about, like you said, like calling it connections as opposed to necessarily like just adding 2 new friends, because it isn't like, that's something that, at least for me, over the course of the last, like, whatever it's been, 4 or 5 months, that has been so eye-opening for me, is the fact that, like, it's so, what we do is so relational focused that, like, it's not Facebook. Like, it's life, and like, yeah, Facebook's where everybody's at. So that makes sense to a large degree. But like, I loved when she was like, touch base with 2 new people. I mean, maybe it's at the park. Like, maybe it's at, like, don't I don't know, like, pin yourself down to like running your business through Facebook, if that makes sense. Like, it's not saying Facebook isn't like the number one tool to use to to make it go kind of thing. But on the flip side, like that, like, then, okay, like if you met Sally Sue over there, come home and make mental notes about what you know about Sally Sue, and then, find her on social media if you can. But even if not, like, like I've got a couple friends who don't use Facebook. So then, I've been messaging them through text instead, because we're friends like that anyways, and kind of trying to get them to a point where, this would make sense. But anyways, I loved that, because her whole thing was like, you want to connect with as many people as possible so that you have those relationships building, but it's not necessarily just about Facebook friending. And to me, it's been really neat for me, because I am very much an introvert, like unbelievably, ridiculously uncomfortable in new settings. Like, I am like one of those people who, like, I mean, I've been called nasty names over the years, because like, if I don't know you, I don't talk to you. Like, it's just not in my makeup. It just doesn't, like, I'm so uncomfortable. And I suppose you could probably call me, what do they say, like an introverted extrovert, because once you get to know me, it's like, shut up already. But point being, like, though, like, this has been so good for me, because like, I'm finding myself, even though, like, to this point, like, that's not true. Like, there has been one person that, like, in real life person minus Facebook, she's like bought a challenge pack or whatever. But most of the time, like, I haven't gotten it to that point. But it's kind of like, it's neat, because I feel like I'm more aware out in, on Facebook and out in real life. Like, and I'm more like intentional with like talking to people and like, giving them compliments and like, like genuinely so. But like, I feel like I've become more kind of like conscious of like being a nice, normal person, I guess. I don't know, like mixing my introvert just a tad, like, But anyways, that's been one thing for me that like, I feel like as a person, this business has helped me grow.
There's on the side they were talking about like you guys are talking about like reaching out to people who don't use Facebook. I was thinking about this today too, because I have a handful of people who don't, and they've like activated an account to be in a group, but because they're not on, they're not really active in the group. And that would be one of the situations, I don't know, you guys can chime in. What comes to my mind is the tracker app. Like you could have a very small group on your app just for the people who aren't on Facebook. And you don't have to post like daily posts in there, like in a sense of like a fresh topic, but you could, go on Monday and then every day you post your sweaty selfie. And because it's a smaller group, that I know people are successfully building community with the app. I think the problem was we all moved all our Facebook people over to the app and they were so used to Facebook that it was hard. But for people who aren't into that's one thought that comes to mind. I don't know if y'all have, because there are, Instagram's really popular with a certain demographic. I guess I'm like part of the old people who are on Facebook still, but I wonder like what you guys, if y'all know of any other ideas, because I think you do want to provide something for them for sure. Anybody else have any thoughts? Nobody?
Well, my thought wasn't about that though. It's not an answer to your question. I had a different thought.
The only other thing I could think you could do is if had like 2 people or 3, you could do like a group text where you could kind of post fun, selfies. Or there's Group Me, which is an app that this group from church does that is like texting, but it's through an app. But
the other thing you could do is just like, and I have to get the rest of them up on the team page. I haven't yet, but I made these accountability things for challenge. I had a challenger ask me for one, and I thought, you know what, it worked for the Mrs. Virginia pageant for me because I held myself accountable. But to have these things where people can actually just check it off, and then maybe once a week check in with them, type of a thing. I once did some coaching with a gal. It was for sales and business coaching. However, that's the way she did her accountability, was once a week we would connect, and I would have a specific amount of time that she had that we would get together and we'd chat, and so that could also work.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
So,
what, Sarah, you said you had something that was not related.
Yeah, I had 2 things actually. I don't remember what the second one was. The first one had to do with tracking ads. I don't put people on a conversation tracker when I add them as a friend, but I go into my Facebook friends and see who my recently added friends are, and I just write them down on a piece of paper, and then I use those as my new connections the next month. And for a while, I was going to their page, finding something to message them about and messaging them about it. And that was taking a really long time. And I was trying during the last team cut month to up my touches with people. And so I just didn't have a ton of time to message everybody. So I just went to their Facebook page and commented or liked a couple of things on their page. And that didn't start very many conversations. So I was getting really discouraged. But then a week or 2 into doing that, I noticed that those people were commenting and liking on my posts. And so just the act of commenting on their thing, even if it wasn't a question to up engagement, even if it was just a like or like cute picture of your kid or looks like you had fun on vacation, even if that act didn't create any engagement, it brought me up in the Facebook algorithm. And so my posts were showing up on their feed. And so those people that I had never talked to before were starting to like and comment my posts. And then I could go back if I had a post with a bunch of likes and I go back and I send a message to the people who liked my post. It gave me something to message that was genuine and cut and pasteable, because what was taking so long is creating an original post for every single person that I made a message to, because I'd go to their page, find something about them, and then message them about that. And it just takes a long time. And I can do a couple of those, but not very many. And so I'm finding that my half an hour power hour was taking 2.5 hours because I was crafting individual messages to people. But if it's a thank you message, it can be the same thank you to 5 people without sounding fake or like a copy and paste, because it really is the same thank you because they all did the same thing. So the fact that I went and commented on some of their things just brought me up in their feed in the algorithm. And so it put me in front of people, and it let me know, it kind of turned cold contacts into like maybe a little bit warmer of a contact because it was somebody who was looking at my posts. So I knew that they had seen something I posted, because it sounds really dumb to be like, did you see my post? They're like, no, I didn't see your post. Like, I've got 5,000 Facebook friends. I didn't see your post, you know? But if they, now I know who is seeing my post because they're commenting and liking on it. No, liking and commenting on it.
You know, what you're saying right there, actually, Sarah, is what Bob Heilig, one of the things he's teaching
Well, damn, you should pay me. I'll tell you that, Michelle.
Yeah, well, one of the things he's teaching is to, when you add your new people on Facebook, to create an interest list for new friends, so that when you're doing the 10-10 rule, you can go into your best prospects. That's one he says, is to have a group called Best Prospects, which you have 15 to 20 of the people you really want to be in your challenge groups or on your team. Like, they're the people like you want to go for. They're a list, and then get your new people on a list. So taking what you're doing and streamlining that right before you post.
Right.
No, that was really good. And I'm sorry if I interrupted you early. I don't know where my brain's at today. I didn't realize if I did, but.
Me?
Yeah, when you were going to share. My brain's all over the place today. And I'm like.
I don't think you interrupted me. Or if you did, I guess I was done, because I don't remember.
Good. But yeah, no, that is something I think that, guys, we really should do. What Sarah said, write down all those names, put them on. As soon as they add, just go click on it, and just, you can go to their profile, go to the friend where they're at. You can say add to list, and then you can even create a list right there if you have to, if you need to, if you haven't one.
And that's good, because I'm doing it on a piece of paper because I'm a pen and paper kind of person. I was trying interest lists for a while, and then I would forget to update them, and I'd forget to look at them. But if you're doing it that way and you can do it right in that moment, then you don't have to go back to your list and find those people. You can just pull it up. If I can remember to do that, that's a faster way than writing. And because then I can only do it when I've got my piece of paper in front of me and I have to look at the person and go to their page, versus if it's on one of those interest lists, it just comes up.
Wait, can you explain how to do that again, Michelle? I'm confused.
It just changed. It used to be one way, and then that way was gone. But they're back.
So if you go to Sarah Kroger's, you go to Sarah Kroger, and then you click on. Let me see if I have a friend up here on Facebook. You go to Sarah Kroger, and then you click like. Here we go. I'm pulling her up because it's not doing that when I go to my own, of course. Which is what I did. Oh, Sarah, by the way, Beachbody off of your profile. You want to create curiosity. You want people seeing your name and seeing Beachbody there?
Yeah. I've heard that, and then I always forget to do it. Somebody else said you should do that too.
Yeah, I took mine up. Bob Heilig again was talking about that recently. Okay, so here we go. So if you go to Sarah and you click.
You're not screen sharing. Are you meaning to screen share?
No. I wasn't screen sharing.
Okay. Never mind. Just kidding. Keep talking.
Here we go. I will screen share. You know what? Why not? That way I can just show you.
Anyway, Sarah gets a little social media audit here.
Yeah. So I go to friends.
See, that's a terrible placement for my picture because all you see is my shoulder.
Where is it? I just saw it. Oh, add to another list.
Okay.
Add to another list, and you can choose one, or you can create a new list. So right now I've been using one called.
So much easier than the old way. Oh,
that's way easier than the old way.
So as soon as you add someone, just go ahead and do that. Like, I need to create my new friends one, but I've been slowly getting myself back into this whole process of doing my power hours because I just cut out for so long that I haven't started adding 5 new friends a day because I added a ton of friends that I did not connect with. So but I'm going to start doing that, like new friends. And what I do then, whenever I've got a post, just 10 minutes before, 10 minutes after. And for me, I'll be honest, sometimes it's only 5 minutes before. You know, we got to do the best we can, and sometimes I don't.
That's really well. But what Michelle's saying is part of it too. That I noticed right after I should have started doing that at the beginning of my power hour instead of at the end, because what Michelle's talking about is that if you do all this liking and then post, people will see that post.
They do. So you just, what I do then before I go in, I go to best prospects, or you can go to your new friends. And then what you want to do is you want to spend a little bit of time. So you don't want to go so fast like this, because Facebook knows how much time the average person spends on a post. And if you don't spend the average time, then they're going to dock you points. Ridiculous. I'm telling you, they're so controlling. But anyway, increase. So anyway, I would be like, that's awesome. Way to go. Whatever. Sarah, swim time. See, these are so cute. I can be like, if she's in now she's in my sneak peek. Oh my God.
I was like, that's not me. Who are you looking
at? Guys, you're such a great mom, Sarah.
But even this kind of stuff, like originally we would think, well, we're going to comment on somebody's stuff and create engagement that way. And we're not. We are, but we're not directly creating engagement this way. So what Michelle's doing here, posting on, like commenting on this, they're genuine comments. She really does think that's cute. She really does want to get in touch with this person and get to know them and invest in them. So it's not cheap and shallow. It's a genuine investment. But now, because Facebook is a computer program, now when Michelle posts something before she goes to bed, this girl's going to see it on her newsfeed.
Exactly. And the thing is this too, what I should have done, and I didn't, is I should have ended with a little bit of a question. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Where'd you get the goggle? I don't know, whatever it is. Bob Heilig is saying we want to do the bulk of our forming in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
We want to create the conversations within the comments, because not only does it help us connect with them, but it helps if we're conversing with them on theirs, our stuff's going to pop up more for them. Plus, we're not going to have to send a weird message, and then we'll know when the time's right to send a message, and then we can shoot a message. But it just takes the stress out of it. You know, I can't tell you how stressed I'd be going to someone's page, like, what am I going to say to them? You know what I mean? So this is just some easy things. I know we just turned this into a little bit of a social media thing, but
no, thank you. That was helpful.
Well, it's good, because I'll tell you, Michelle, the thing with this and with free groups, I felt for a long time like I was just spinning my wheels. Here I am doing another free group because they told me to do a free group, and I'm like, no one from my Pray for Your Husband group is buying a challenge pack. Like, what the heck? And I realized that I was skipping steps. You know, you're not commenting on this person's post because they're going to the next day buy a challenge pack. You're not having somebody in your Pray for Your Husband group because at the end of it, they're going to buy a challenge pack. You are placing yourself, you're creating your brand. If you're a person who prays for your husband and that's something that's appealing to this person, then they're going to build that relationship with you, and it turns into business down the road, because then later on I am talking about this whole community and how my husband has found community among the husbands of the coaches on our team, and how it's strengthened our marriage because we're both taking better care of ourselves, and we start to value the other one taking care of themselves. And like it just turns into community versus, I don't know, I guess I viewed it too much of as a transaction for a while.
Really helpful. We should do a call later down the road with more of this stuff, Michelle. It would be really good to have. And
I know, and right now I'm really trying to take time to learn and to absorb and to practice and process, so that when we sit down and teach it, I know it works for us.
That would be awesome. Well, it's 9:54, so I'm gonna be the one. I'm usually the one yapping. But Tricia, you did awesome.
Yes, great.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks for sharing the social media stuff too. That was helpful. But I love how you shared you don't have to spend all day. Like, you know what I mean? And even now, like as I'm digging back in after having Eli, like I only have an hour and a half right now, really, between the chaos, and it was refreshing to have this coming through to be like, oh, but that's enough right now. Like you're going to have seasons where you might want to do a little more and that's okay, but it's not required. So thank you for sharing that, because I love, and Elizabeth shared a tracker she made in the group if you don't want to use, although I think a recipe box seems really fun because mine is always full of empty cards too. So, but the paper, I'm a paper person. She shared a really great tracker that does the 2, 2, and 2 also. But thank you guys. I'll get this recording out because I think it's definitely something worth sharing with coaches that come down the line. And thanks, Michelle. That was great stuff too. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the easiest way to make a list ever. Thought it was like super complicated.
Yeah.
No.
I'm constantly.
It's way better. That's way better than the old way of doing it. That's why I never did it. It took so much time to update my list, and then I would forget about it. And I'm like, well, that was stupid.
And everybody gets a leaf placemat, right, Sarah?
Oh my gosh. Like I want to just make them for everybody, but they take so freaking long. So instead I'll write you a reflection.
Leaf coasters.
I don't think that would be faster. Quilting takes forever. I will tell you, the people who really actually legitimately make quilts, holy smokes.
Now you know why they cost so much.
Oh,
I do. Handmade things are never cheaper.
No, but they're awesome. Thank you guys for being on tonight and taking the time. It was so good to see everybody.
Good to see everybody.
Yay. Have a good night.
We just totally did that.